The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Hello, I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group. I'm a certified financial planner. I'm a practitioner. I'm president and founder of Akers Financial Group. And today I welcome Jeff Akers from Akers Financial Group to our show on Winning on Retirement. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Brian.
Now, Jeff is my cousin. That's why we share a last name. He's also a financial advisor here at Akers Financial Group. And here on the show today, we have a lot of things to cover.
There's a lot of information.
But there's just a lot of emotions going through me with this fall. And I got to try to explain myself today. So what we try to do is design a show. But I'm going to take the blame for this one. So I woke up and was thinking about the playoff push. You know, the Baltimore Orioles are in a playoff push.
The Orioles are?
Absolutely. It's wonderful. It reminds me of all those younger days when I was listening to the radio in my bed and listening to Eddie Murray win the game. Every night. And that, I love that, being able to see, hear, wonderful stuff, right? Oh, yeah. So the idea of playoff push, then I'm thinking about all my meetings all week long and all the people I talked to. I was like, wow, it's like a retirement push.
Oh, yeah.
And so what the thoughts happened was this, is that I started thinking about, well, what matters, what happens? And what I was thinking about is this, is that when September comes, it seems like there's more meaningful days when your favorite baseball team's in the playoffs or almost in the playoffs or trying hard to do it. And being close to that playoffs gives you that hope, gives you that dream, gives you the ability to want to listen and be excited about it.
That excitement, yeah.
The good and the bad excitement.
Yeah.
And I don't like the disappointing days, but it's all part of the plan. And the fact that we actually have the opportunity to experience excitement is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So meaningful days to me means that day matters now and into the future. The way that you do retirement planning is like that. Throughout your career, there are many meaningful days where decisions are made that determine your actual retirement future. This show is about those decisions that need to be made on those meaningful days to allow you to be winning in retirement. And in fact, to win the retirement championship. Like you get to the end and you win, you get the victory lap is actually those retirement days. The actual championship is the enjoyment of winning because during the tougher times, the volatile times in the market, the changing laws, the increased taxes, the increased expenses, you do the right thing on those meaningful days. And that's exactly the main topic of our show throughout the day.
Right. And then you reach that victory at the end. Mm-hmm. And like you said, the excitement, just the thrill of that. I remember the old Saturday nights or Saturday afternoon sports, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. We're talking the thrill of victory. Yeah,
the thrill of victory is a moment, but every time you win a championship in life, what happens is you think about the whole journey to get there and how that was the exciting, that was the life-changing event, was that journey to get there. And that's sort of like when we watch baseball in the playoff push, that journey to get there, all the moves that are made, all the strategy changes that affect that final win, the final championship.
It's almost like these baseball teams have a plan in mind that they're using to try and reach that victory ultimately.
Absolutely have a plan. And the longer term plan people have in sports or even in your finances, the better you can actually try to get there. So what happens is this, is that winning in retirement is about financial planning and then financial action. Actually having a meaningful day where you make the changes that you need to make right now. Not waiting till another day, not waiting for a better day, but no matter how bad it might seem, you make the changes now so that you have a time where you're going to win in your retirement. And that's going to be your retirement championship, is when you are winning throughout those years because you've done the work now.
Right.
Now, what we got to do, Jeff, is start with this. Let's start with the rules of the game. Ooh. Now, the rules of the game, what I mean by that is there's changes in laws that affect financial planning, that affect the budget, that affect inflation, affect the company's debt, all kinds of things out there that could affect us. So I thought we'd start out with just some basic changes that have occurred over the last few months around the laws that are in Maryland and laws that are national. Which law change would you like to start with, Jeff?
Well, let's do the Maryland one because that one happened first.
Right.
And we've talked a little bit about it on the show before, so let's just cover that one real quick.
Yeah, the name of that act?
Oh, the Retirement Tax Elimination Act.
Okay, I forgot the name of that. And the reason I forgot the name of it is because I don't believe the name.
Because it doesn't do it. But.
Yeah, so Yes, we had a show where we talked about the Maryland Retirement Tax Elimination Act,
Right.
and how it doesn't eliminate all your retirement taxes.
Right.
It does eliminate some. So just explain the basics of how that law, just the part that affects the retiree.
So the very basics are if your income is low enough, $100,000 for individuals or $150,000 for married filing jointly, if it's low enough, then you get a tax credit of $1,000 for an individual or $1,750 for a married couple. So that's a tax credit, which means part of your tax is already paid.
And that happens at 65.
Right.
And so in the state of Maryland, there is an additional credit to your taxes. It's just like paying the tax. It's not taxable income deduction. It's an actual tax credit, which is nice. I like credits. And that equivalent is probably around $20,000 or more.
Yeah, I'd just say that it's an improvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we're kind of throwing shade on it because it's called tax elimination. It doesn't eliminate taxes, but it does improve taxes in Maryland for seniors.
And for some people, it will eliminate because there's already Maryland exemptions for Social Security and for first responders. There are ways to eliminate certain pensions already.
Right, retirement income.
And this is across the board credit for all income, so it won't just be any one category of income.
Right. So taxes in Maryland have improved for seniors through this act.
But there's a lot of caveats to that where if the budget changes or things look out of alignment, they can basically get rid of this law very quickly. It's only on the books for 5 years. There's a lot of counters to relying on this.
Well, if you're thinking, oh, great, I don't have to file taxes in Maryland anymore, we just want to get rid of that thought because that's not going to change. You're still going to have to file taxes.
Right, or people say, oh, I'm going to move to Maryland. It's a tax-free state now.
Right.
It's like, no.
Right.
It's lower taxes than it was. It's one of the Social Security. You don't pay tax on the whole Social Security. That's good. They're giving us some incentives to stay in Maryland for retirement years. That's the key. And they're going to hopefully keep battling for that in the future, depending on who's the next governor. We'll have to see.
Yeah, just understand it's a benefit. It might not be as good as what you thought.
All right. That's cool. Now, Jeff, go to the federal one.
Okay, so that one's called the Inflation Reduction Act that passed just a little while ago. That's the one where Joe Manchin negotiated this deal. And it actually does a lot of different things. Do you want me to start with one in particular?
Do you want to start with the title of the act? Or do you rather do that at the end?
Yeah, we'll just do that at the end.
Okay.
We'll talk about how it reduces inflation.
That
what
sounds,
it's going to
sounds
accomplish
good.
that. Okay, so there's parts of this that you've heard about, because it's all over the news about, there's going to be more IRS agents because they funded the IRS a lot. You might have heard about a corporate minimum tax rate and that kind of thing, and that's all in there. There is one other thing in there, the prescription drug prices that Medicare pays. Medicare, through this act, now has the ability to negotiate those prices directly with the drug companies. So they're looking at that as a way to reduce the cost of prescription drugs.
So they're buying in bulk.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Medicare is a huge buyer. Yeah, Medicare is the Costco on steroids of prescriptions.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too deep into that. Like, well, who was negotiating what last before this? So I don't understand.
That's a good question.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that. One other healthcare thing out of this, the Affordable Care Act has a subsidy for folks lower income, and that subsidy at the end of this year was going to go away. So if you had healthcare through the Maryland Health Connection and you got a subsidy to offset some of the cost of your premiums for the health insurance, that was going to end at the end of this year, and you were going to have to pay the full amount. Well, this act extends the subsidy through 2025. So we got a few more years with that subsidy. And for folks that are retiring before 65, a lot of times their income is low enough that they would qualify for a subsidy. So that can help early retirees pre-age 65.
I think that healthcare decision is one of the biggest decisions in retirement planning. The meaningful day event is where if you retire early, you have to know what your healthcare should be to get you to 65 before you get under Medicare and a supplement. If you have company provided or you work for the government and there's a provided benefit, you got to make the right decisions and know how to make that decision, and that's where proper planning matters.
Right. And then the last thing that I think everybody's pretty much heard about is there's a lot of climate stuff in the bill through credits and just money for climate or green energy projects.
Which is something I've been wanting them to do for at least a decade, because I believe the only way to support green energy is to give tax credits for it. So that means that if you bought energy efficient things for your home, you should keep those receipts and see if they do qualify under this law when you do your taxes this year.
Right. Part of it is tax credits for households to offset energy costs. So those receipts that Brian's talking about is the way that you apply for them.
And then there's some other corporate ones, which probably why the West Virginia senator agreed to it all.
Right.
But we didn't read every line in there, but we just covered basics of that. So what happens in financial planning is we are talking about winning the retirement championship, meaningful days in our life where we have this push to retirement. We got to try to find ways to improve. Your personal tax return, paying the least amount of tax, is an important thing you got to do every year. And you got to take all the right deductions. You got to answer the right questions and say the right things to your tax preparer, or at least know what's going on the tax law so you can do your own taxes in the best way possible.
All right. So I'm going to circle back real quick to the name of the bill, the Inflation Reduction Act. Mm-hmm. And depends on who you listen to. There are some folks that say that it's not going to affect inflation at all. And there are some folks that say, well, it's going to affect inflation a little bit and over time, an extended period of time. So one way that they're doing that is Medicare negotiating drug prices. Yeah. Another way is that over the next 10 years, it's supposed to reduce our federal deficit by about 4%. And that reduction is supposed to ease the pressure on price increases over 10 years.
Yes, what Jeff was saying is that the annual budget deficit, which I think last year was $2.8 trillion for negative, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's going
to reduce by 4%, mainly because they're bringing in some more money through some corporate minimum tax, and then they are trying to save some money on the drug negotiations and a few other things inside of there. Then they're giving away some credits, which is some spending actually there too.
Right.
So what happens in financial planning is you need to know the tax law so you can apply it to your situation. At Acres Financial Group, we're local. We're independent. We don't report to a big company on Wall Street. We report to you. We have offices in Foresthill and Lutherville and clients all around the country and even some around the world. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. You can call us for a free consultation with one of our team of advisors. Give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call back on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go to acresfinancialgroup.com or give us a call at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. If things are not right in your retirement plan, when would you want to know that? We'll talk about that in 2 minutes in the second quarter.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
I'm Brian Akers, and welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Here's Jeff Akers. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm still doing fine.
All right, second quarter, we're really trying to do our best today to try to explain what we're trying to get through. It is exciting in September when we have a playoff push and there's meaningful baseball. It's a wonderful thing to be able to watch scores, watch games, watch how players react and play. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about throughout the show is about meaningful days in life, meaningful strategic changes that affect the game, affect the day, but that ultimately affect the outcome of winning your retirement championship. So today's show is called Winning the Retirement Championship. The way you do that is, of course, by practice, preparing, planning, doing all the things to help get you ready. Now, one of the things I want to start the second quarter with is this, Jeff. Jeff, something is fundamentally wrong in someone's retirement plan. When do you think they want to know about it?
Well, I'd want to know right away. In fact, I'd want to know yesterday so it could already be fixed.
It's almost like in baseball, if a player's sick that morning, when should they call the clubhouse?
Right away.
Or should they, I'm going to try to get better first. Don't tell the coach yet. And that does happen.
That's a good way to give up 10 runs in the first inning.
Yeah, well, it happens when people get sick. You have to readjust and change, and that's what teams do. You want to build a solid team to handle the good days in life and the bad days in life. But the concept here is if there's something fundamentally wrong in your planning thoughts or process, when would you want to know about it? My answer is right now. And so what we do at Acres Financial Group is we sit down and talk to people that call our show. and we sit down and give them a free hour of our time with our team of advisors and talk about their exact situation and look for situations or ways to try to help to make it a better retirement, to help you actually win that retirement championship by being successful in achieving all the goals that you have.
Yep, we call that your financial fingerprint. And your situation is different than anyone else. And so what you've heard your friends talk about, your cousins talk about, well, that's funny because I'm talking with my cousin now, but whatever they're talking about doesn't necessarily apply to you. And so we need to find something that's specific for you and explain the plan that'll work for you. Absolutely.
That planning is what helps you understand what might be fundamentally wrong now. The hard part is that people look at their life in different ways. What I want you to do is think about this way of looking at your life. Think of your life as 4 quarters for your working years. Let's take 18 to 62. I'm not saying everybody's got to retire at 62. If I had to pick an age, 65 is the age I would pick, or 67, not 62. But we use 62 because a lot of people like to try to hit that age. That's their goal, to retire by 62. And so 18 to 62 is how many years, Jeff?
11 years per quarter.
44 years?
Oh, 44 years total.
But you read my cheat sheet.
Yes.
You're skipped down. I saw
Absolutely.
that. Absolutely. Okay, so between 18 and 62, it's 44 years. And then Jeff already divided for us in the quarters. That means 11 years of a life at a time. So in my example today, if you're 18 to 29, you're in the first quarter.
We did baseball talk, though. Maybe we should have done 9 innings, but we'll stick with 4 quarters.
I could not play it into baseball. I have to divide it by 9 and then do that category. It's hard.
There's a lot of them then. So we'll stick with 4 quarters. That's okay.
The simple quarters, because it sticks with the show overall concept is the idea. First quarter is 18 to 29. They got 29 to 40. Yeah. And that I should look at the paper. That's second quarter. So first and second quarter are there's certain things you got to think about when you're the younger you are, and that is listen to people that are trying to have the playoff push. The ones in the fourth quarter, age 51 to 62, they're coming in to see us in that age range, 51 to 62, and they're saying, "Am I ready to retire? Do I have enough? What do I need to do to make sure it works?" And we're like, "It's great you're in now. It's great we can review and try to get it better." But your amount of choice in your retirement years is limited to what you've already done, and we got a certain period of time to get you there, but we don't have this incredible amount of time somebody in the first or second quarter has to save and invest in a proper way.
Yeah, it strikes me the number of people that I've met, they're now in retirement or getting close to retirement, and they've got a bunch of money saved up, and they're like, "Yeah, when I first started working, there was this guy, and he was getting ready to retire, and he told me I need to save my 401k, and I need to put this much in, and I need to invest," and it worked out over time because they followed that advice.
And some of that advice is good, some of that is bad. When you see a success, you don't want to just listen to someone's success. You want to see the success financially. What you're looking for good, disciplined habits, and then you learn those habits to apply to your financial life. That is the opposite of normal American life. Normal American life is to be sold, to be marketed, to buy the latest thing, to always need the newest thing, to do a lot of stuff, which costs lots of money. Mm-hmm. We have talked many times on our shows about paying yourself first, setting aside money so that you have that money for when you need it most. A meaningful day for you, if you think about which quarter you're in, first quarter, second, third quarter is basically 40 to 51. 51 to 62 is fourth quarter. Whatever quarter you're in, you need to take a look at where you are right now and make sure you do what you need to do. Meaningful day with the market volatility we've been having, the ups and the downs. There are some people who are just scared to invest when things are down. And I think that's when money is made, is when things are down, to make that long-term decision to invest your money while things are down.
Yeah, the money that you invest in a down market day is better than the money that you invested on a high market day, because the goal behind investing is we buy low, we sell high. Well, the first step in that is buy when it's down.
If we try to earn 6 to 8% a year and you can capture at 8% down, just the recovery will get you one whole year of an 8% return just in the recovery. Mm-hmm. So if you see a market down 10 and you could buy that, well, when it does come back in time, not sure when, but when it comes back, it'll matter on that return that you're able to achieve. The meaningful day is when you decide to do it. That's what we're trying to get across of this. You want to win the retirement championship. We all want to win. But how do you win? Well, you got to do the hard things, the tough things. And what we're trying to say is this: no matter what quarter you're in, make that decision that applies to your financial life now. Make today that day. All right, I heard that, and I'm going to do it on Monday. I'm going to do it on my computer right now. You can go to your 401k and you can make changes.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff that you can do. One thing's on your 401k website. You can go under contributions, and some of these websites have the ability for you to click a button that says raise it every year. Like if you're putting 6% in, it'll go 1% up a year. Mm-hmm. Do something like that. You might not even notice the difference in them taking more and more money out of your pay.
Right, and as you get raises, then you really don't notice so much because you're getting to bring home more money even though you're saving more.
If you really want to retire early, go ahead and click that button to maximize your 401k.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're 40 years old, you can only put $20,500.
Yep.
If you're over 50, you put $27,000 in for the year 2022. What happens is this: make a meaningful day, a day you'll never forget in your future when you say, oh, that's the day I turned around in my retirement planning because I decided to save more money. I bought when the market was down 3 years ago. I didn't wait for the market to get through the mess and then buy. Now, if you are in retirement, you might want to do those kind of things. And we are cautious for older clients that are in retirement for entering the market unless it's truly long-term money, 3 to 5 years or longer.
Right. When we're saving money, we're making contributions, we're going to invest one way. When we're taking distributions, money out to live on, we need to invest a different way so that money will last a lifetime.
Yeah, so meaningful days. What I mean by that is this: what can you do that's going to affect that future? One thing I recommend is you raise your savings rate, save more. If you can do that, if you're still eligible for a Roth IRA, set one up and get money going into it every month automatically.
Right. And on 401k, if the company has a match, make sure you've at least maximized the match. And if you can, like Brian said, maximize the contribution all the way up to the limit.
Many times when we're meeting with executives, they're not taking advantage of the benefits at their own work. And so the meaningful day when we're doing planning for them is, hey, let's do deferred comp. I had one recently where we did the 5% deferred comp. That was the max they allow this year. We also looked at the company stock, and they could buy it 10% down. And I said to them, the stock's down 40, and you get another 10% discount.
Tap off.
Sounds like a good time to buy. I mean, you got a job there. You think you have a job there next year? Oh, yeah, we're coming back.
It'll come back.
Yeah, so just the simple things. Now, no matter what income you make, what position you are in these companies, you got to think about on the personal side, how can you take advantage of what's going on, the volatility, the downs. The opposite of being nervous and scared is to have a plan and look at the opportunities in the vision of your future, your plan, not anybody else's, yours. And that's a big deal when it comes to planning.
Yeah, one of the things that I ask people about when I first meet them is about company benefits. What is available to you? And it's surprising sometimes how many times people say, I'm not sure, I'll have to find out. But just that finding out, that's figuring it out, and now we go forward. It's a winning day.
Absolutely. Now, overriding, if you hear our show many times, or if you go to our website, acresfinancialgroup.com, and hit the radio tab, you can hear past shows there. What you'll find is that we talk about the tax rates and how great they are right now. The tax rates have a set rate under Tax Cut and Jobs Act until 2026. It might be better to pay tax now and never again by doing Roth conversions and Roth IRAs. There's a lot of other things where if you pay tax now, that becomes a meaningful day in your life. Or, oh yeah, they made me cash out $60,000. I paid all the tax on that. That was brutal. Right. But you know what? I'm not paying tax again.
That's right. And those tax law changes, those are a little bigger changes. We talked about the things that have changed recently here, but they're relatively small compared to some of the bigger adjustments that happen, and we need to be ready for those and plan around those.
Most people listening are not saving enough for retirement, especially those that make over $200,000 a year. Imagine that if someone is making a $120,000 a year and they put $20,000 away, that's a very high percentage. But if you max out and you're making $200,000, $300,000, your percentage is actually reduced the more and more money you make. If you're trying to design a retirement plan to match your income in retirement, you actually need to save more and beyond your company plan. Are you saving enough? One meaningful day is when you calculate and we figure out you're not, or yes, you are. Okay. It's a tough thing to address, but something very, very important for you to look at. The reason is that at Acres Financial Group, we want this to happen for you, where the best part of retirement is getting your time back, where you decide how to use it. You're actually retired. You're winning the retirement championship. That retirement is where your time is no longer tied up by other commitments, mainly your past job. A lot of that goes away when you're retired. Your time is now consumed by things that you want to do. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. Go to our website at acresfinancialgroup.com, scroll to the schedule a meeting section, and let us know you'd like to schedule your free consultation with one of our team of advisors. That's acresfinancialgroup.com, or give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go ahead to acresfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. Strategic September player call-ups can help a baseball team get into the playoffs. What strategic moves will help you win the retirement championship? Well, we'll talk about this in the second half in just 2 minutes.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
I'm Brian Akers. Here with me today is Jeff Akers. We are certified financial planner practitioners from Akers Financial Group. What that means is that we are financial advisors here to advise you on your retirement, your planning, anything that has to do with your finances, my finances at this exact moment. When you work with us, it's all about you and your retirement. It's not about us. It's not about us trying to sell you something. It's about us giving you the best advice that we can so that you can have the best retirement that you can. And we call that the Retirement Championship. We are located right here in Maryland, but we look forward to working with you and anybody around the state of Maryland or around the country, actually. We're licensed in a lot of different states now.
Yep, all over the place.
All right, so when we talk about our show today, Winning in Retirement, we put together this show. It's called Winning the Retirement Championship. Meaningful days. It's like the playoff push. When you think about baseball and think about what's going on with the Orioles, especially, pushing for a playoff spot and an opportunity to actually win a championship. You have to take advantage of meaningful days, of that moment in time when you're up to bat for that one hit, that one pitch we need, the one strikeout. Those are big days, big deals. Mm-hmm. In retirement planning, it's just like that. We want you to know how well you are prepared, and that's why we talk about financial planning. Now, Jeff, we're going to talk this quarter about strategic September player call-ups that help baseball teams.
Okay.
Not really. But we're going to talk about the concept where you might need to make strategic moves that will help to help you win your retirement championship. What are some thoughts you have?
Oh, so you got to – I'm just thinking about some clients that I met over the last couple of weeks. And so one, they had to make a change. It wasn't necessarily pushed on them. They were forced to make a change. And it was in that fourth quarter because they were over 51 and they had to change jobs. And so we've got to adjust, okay, we got to set up the new plan and all those kinds of things. So it's a little bit like, in this case, the player got injured. And so you got to bring somebody up, the backup to pinch hit or play for them. And that was kind of the situation where in this case where we've got to adjust how they're investing now and we've got to adjust. They've got a new job. All right, what are the benefits there? And start that way. Yeah,
I was trying to think all the different meetings that we have. There's the brand new client where you talk about their goals and dreams, and then when you have that kind of meeting, the first thing always starts with why you're here, and then they usually have some one question that's very important, and then we sort of build off of that, and then we come back and build the foundation of fundamental financial planning with each and every client. But the key thing really is when they come in, a lot of them want to know, am I okay?
Right.
And the hardest part is we have to ask like a ton more questions to even come close to saying, you look okay.
Right. Yes, or, well, you're okay if you can live on this amount.
Yeah, so the concept that I made up for this about September call-ups, what happens is there's players developing, there's things working on, and then you call it up to use it for that baseball team in September. September, you have more people on your roster. You have basically you have more players in the bullpen, more players at bat. You can do more changes.
Right.
Now that's good and bad when you talk about financial planning. Sometimes you have too many choices. Some people actually decide not to make a choice because there's too many choices.
Yeah.
Now, in our opinion, there are a lot of changes that occur at ages like 59 and a half, where you can do things like in-service withdrawals from your work, where you might have limited choices. The roster expands at 59 and a half. The roster expands, gives you a lot more choices on investments. I know you had a client like that where you pulled some money out to design a little broader portfolio diversification.
It was a combination broader portfolio, and also it allowed us to do some Roth conversions to provide some tax-free income to the future.
So at 59 and a half, an in-service withdrawal is only if the company allows it.
Right.
You can roll money out. And then Jeff's talking about a Roth conversion where you roll money to an IRA, and then you pick a portion of that IRA to pay tax on now and put it into a regular Roth.
Right. And we were just looking at the future. Brian mentioned earlier the current tax law is going to expire in 2026. So the tax rates right now are as low as we're going to see. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to take advantage of that, and we filled up the tax bracket that he was in with a conversion.
Now, what you're hearing here is that we're coaching the client through it. We're doing the work, the calculations. We're saying we recommend this, and the client says, that sounds like a great idea. So imagine that you hire a manager, and the manager is helping make those decisions. That's what financial planners do, is try to help you with these strategic changes and ideas. Now, let's talk about a couple more strategic moves. Now, you've met with a lot of clients, and I've met with a lot of clients, but I've seen many of them without estate planning, without life insurance. Those are like the two biggest things. The other thing when it comes to investments, they're always too aggressive or not aggressive enough. They're always one end or the other. They're never properly diversified. So it's almost like we're taking the low risk and bringing out the laddering into higher risk, and the high risk, we're bringing it down. There's always seems to be an improvement, a strategy change that has to occur.
Right. We come in over time with our background and our experience, and a lot of folks went through the downturn in 2008, 2009, and it freaked them out. They went low risk, and they've never gone back. And so they missed out on the recovery. And so we do have to help them nudge a little bit more towards some risk investments, because they might need this money in 10, 15, 20 years. That's a long time down the road, and inflation will eat that up if it's just in cash.
And the hardest thing, it's like, okay, let's talk about clients that are new, and then I'll talk about clients that we already have. So clients that are new and they have cash because they're rolling out, they sell, the money rolls out, and they're like, well, should I buy the stock market right now? And we come down with a plan. You can build an investment strategy. Without a plan, then all you have is the emotions where you say, well, I don't want to buy stocks. I might lose money, so I don't do anything. And so you're sort of locked in place doing the wrong thing. We do believe the stock market will do well over time. Will there be a volatile up and down over the next 6, 9, 12 months or longer?
Yes.
Absolutely. We think the market's going to have some issues like that. And what I mean by that, those issues is, how do you describe it?
Well, the market is always volatile. There's always a reason not to invest.
The reasons not to invest are they come at you constantly. Like right now, you say, well, are we in a recession? Or are we heading into one? Are they going to raise interest rates? Or are they not? Will the slowdown hurt earnings, which then the market might react to? I believe the stock market's always a leading indicator of what's going on. If they think rates are starting to slow down, the market would rise. That's what happened in July of 2022. Now, market comes back down because they might have higher rates. I believe that recession is slowly happening. One of the biggest things that's happening in the economic environment is we're coming out of a shutdown.
Right.
And one of the best examples I've heard recently is that this is not like the 70s. It's more like the late 40s, early 50s. Coming out of World War II, there was a lot of government subsidies to get the GIs back to work, to get the factories converted over from military to basically helping with regular American life.
Like civilian life.
And so we have a lot of subsidies with this pandemic, and that's a lot like that later 40s, early 50s. And what happened is if you look back in history, you'll see that the 1930s, like 32 to 1948, was a sideways market during the Depression, during the war. But in that later 40s, you see the market start coming out of it. And when it came out of it, it created a bull market from 48 to 68.
Right.
And that period of time was because of the investment into jobs, into manufacturing, lots of good paying jobs, lots of money going out for that. And then it didn't change until we went off the gold standard, and a lot of other weird things happened in the late 60s, 70s, early 80s. But the idea is this: when you think about what's going on today and what's a meaningful change for you, it's this: if you have longer term money, you need to do dollar cost averaging. You need to think about making a strategic move with your investments that's not trying to get rich quick, trying to buy the one low stock, but diversify. Build a portfolio that's going to last and help you win that retirement championship.
Right. That's having the plan and buying a little bit over time. We're not going to be able to pick the low day for the market. So let's just pick a day, and we're going to invest some, and the next month on that same day, some more and some more and some more. We might end up lucking out and hitting the absolute low day somewhere along the line, but that's not our goal.
It's almost like you have a September call-up and you pinch hit that rookie and he hits a grand slam home run to win the big game.
Right, that doesn't make him an all-star.
It doesn't mean he's going to do it the next at-bat, too. Right. I was that one really good at-bat. One of the coolest things I've seen in baseball is that when you see a championship, it's always the weakest player on the team that's up the bat with all the money on the line, it seems. And then the one that comes through, the Rick Dempseys of '83, Todd Cruz, there's a certain players that Oriole history you remember, they came through for the great team. It doesn't mean all the great players weren't as great, but everything had to come through. So when you're thinking about retirement planning and your planning, you got to build a diversified portfolio to come through when things matter most. Yeah. And that's why we believe strongly in having money protected, money diversified, and having a plan.
Yeah, the team is as good as the weakest link, and the same is true for your financial plan. What's the weak link, and let's strengthen it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you start a retirement conversation, you ask people, well, what's your current budget? And what does your retirement budget look like? And they're like, I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
Then there's, what do you want to do in retirement? Not work. And then they say, I want to travel. Some have it already written out what they want to do.
Oh, yeah.
That's rare. That's not the average retiree is having a lot of plan. They just know they don't want to work tomorrow.
Yeah, there's plenty of folks that just say, I'm just tired of working. And that's as far as they thought ahead.
Right. And so imagine that if you come see an advisor at 59, you retire at 62, you only have a 2 or 3 year period of time to try to make things better, to try to expand your retirement into other planning advice. You need to start as early as possible. And we brought up ideas over the last 3 quarters about make sure you understand the taxes, you understand what quarter you're in, your time, but have meaningful days. So strategic moves by you and your family can help you win your retirement championship, which means you are winning in retirement. You retire and you stay retired. All extremely, extremely important.
All right, so let's have a conversation about your situation and figure out the plan for you.
Because what we want is this. In retirement, we want the biggest worry of your day should be where you're going to drink your morning cup of coffee, where every day seems like a Saturday free of stress. Your retirement income and investments are taken care of by the team of advisors at Acres Financial Group. If this is the future you want, it's not too late. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. Meet with one of our team of advisors. What you do is you call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. And we'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go to acresfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. Imagine a baseball team making up its lineup without a manager. It's the same with your retirement plan. We'll explain in the later innings in just 2 minutes. I couldn't even say it straight.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Just like the announcer welcomes you back, we welcome you back. I'm Brian Akers here with Jeff Akers, both certified financial planner practitioners. That was easy for me to say. And what we're trying to do today is to bring you something different. It's all from my thinking, so it might be a little different. But imagine the emotions going through here in September as a lifetime Oriole fan. And there's a playoff push. The playoff push, I am basically saying it's like the retirement push. You're trying to get to somewhere exciting. You're trying to get to that point where you win the retirement championship. Now, the Orioles are trying to win the games to get to the playoffs. Just the fact for me that they're in the games and playing meaningful games is wonderful.
Yep.
But I'm getting greedy.
They're
I want to win them.
They're not eliminated yet, and we want them to push through and get there.
Oh, it'd be wonderful for the experience and also, the great story.
Yeah, for those
but
kids
it doesn't
who haven't
mean.
seen it.
But what's neat about baseball is you can come back the next year and try harder, and we got more players coming. It's the team's getting better and better. Retirement has to be done once.
It's one championship.
It's one championship. It's that day you walk in and you say thank you for the career here, and my wife and I, or however you want to say it, we're ready to retire, and we're going to be all right. And the boss says, well, you can always come back if you need to, or I know you're going to be bored. And he's like, well, I got lots of things planned. I look forward to this. I've been planning for this for a long, long time. That's the speech we want you to be able to give. So at Acres Financial Group, we built our website, acresfinancialgroup.com. We have a radio tab on there. There's all of our past shows. And even this show will be on there. It'll say winning the retirement championship. The idea is this. You can go to that website. You can listen and hear different parts of shows if you want to rehear something to make sure you understand what the point was that we were trying to cover. Now, in this fourth quarter, we're covering this concept of imagine a baseball team making up its lineup without a manager. It's the same with your retirement plan. Can you try to explain why we're talking about this?
Well, I'd say that the manager is the one that creates the game plan, has the overall picture of what he wants the team to accomplish and how to accomplish it in the game. In the financial world, that's the financial advisor. That's us, because we see all the rules that we have to play by, and we see the pieces from the information that you've given us, and we put that together to create the plan to win in retirement for you.
I love coaching. I've always loved coaching. It's something I do as my major hobby is high school basketball coaching. I do love baseball, soccer, I love lots of sports. But what happens is that if you coach a team and you just let the team decide the lineup or whatever, what you end up getting is the loudest people get whatever they want, and then the quiet people end up batting last,
Right.
And then you look at it and go, oh, that's not real well thought out.
Yeah, the quiet guy's a really good hitter. Why is he getting fewer at bats?
Yeah, and then you look at a lineup, but if I was a manager, I guess everybody plays with the lineups and say, oh, I would have done this or that. But the manager isn't responsible for it. They have a plan. The plan is for the entire game, not just for the start, but also the finish. The way the matchups work with pitching left and right, style of pitching. What's great about analytics in baseball is that's what we've always done in financial planning, is analytics. Analytics is where you examine the possibilities of the future for you and your financial plan. And we take a look at the numbers, where you have your money, and the probability of how it's going to work out.
Yep, we've talked about taxes and Roth conversions before. Well, right now it looks like we're in a situation where taxes are low. Let's pay tax now, maybe, prepay a little bit, and then you never have to pay tax on some money again after the rates have gone up. So there's those rules that we have to know and bend to your will.
Imagine that the changes in a lineup, pinch hitters, bringing in a new relief pitcher, are all managerial decisions that are based on the information in front of us. Imagine taking the same concepts to your retirement plan. Many are trying to win the retirement playoff push without a manager to help them make decisions during these meaningful days. Meaningful days are very important for me in that there are moments in life where you remember when you turn a direction or you're at a fork in the road and you took right or left. You made a decision that you never regretted. Because of that decision, it's led to many other great decisions in life. This applies to many, many aspects of life. But on the financial planning side, you're given certain opportunities. And those opportunities are things where you got to decide, okay, I'm on board, let's go. Or I'm going to go another route, and I'm going to let's go on the other route. You have to decide. Have you ever seen people or helped people through decisions like that?
Well, I'm just thinking about folks that they started saving in a 401k when they were young, and then they reach retirement age, and they don't regret starting early. Mm-hmm. They're excited that they started early. So that initial decision to get started, whatever age you are, just get started. That's what we need to do.
When someone's a great saver and when they're a client already and, there's later 60s, early 70s, been retired for a while, they come in for a meeting, we review, and we say, well, the plan's working very well, Then I say, but you're not spending any of your money. You're staying frugal and saving in your retirement years. You're allowed to spend your own money. So this is someone who's already won the retirement championship. There's more than enough money. They can reduce their risk and still reach every goal they have. But they got to make ongoing financial decisions. Things like helping charities, helping families. These are other aspects of planning that happen as you have a successful career, a successful building your net worth and building your plan, so you have lots of choices in retirement. The hardest part in America is a lot of people are going to be struggling just to meet their own needs in retirement, and that's a lot harder situation to be in. And that's why we want people to start early and often and make decisions where you save more, spend less, and then grow that money over time by being properly diversified.
Yeah. The bottom line is the earlier you start, the more choices you will have. So if that, by the inverse of that, if you wait later, you'll have fewer choices, and we want you to have as many as possible.
Reasons you need a financial advisor. One is because things are changing, constantly changing. If you think about the last 3 years, unbelievable the amount of change that's going on. The second thing is because the right time to know when things are not right is right now. Yep. The third thing is because correcting things at the right time can bring together your future that you can only dream of. That has just happened to be the first 3 quarters of our show that we've covered. Those are decisions and strategies and things. We haven't given you every strategy that we can come up with for each client. The reason is because it's individual. It applies to that person that walks in the door. Now, Jeff, give me some examples of things that have gone on in meetings or with new clients, old clients that you've had that would be a strategic change or some type of meaningful day.
Things that could be corrected, I guess. One of the popular investments in 401ks right now is target date funds. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the one that you're pushed to in the 401k. A target date fund invests in stocks and bonds and rotates more and more towards bonds the closer you get to that target date. Well, the problem with bonds right now is their value goes down as interest rates go up. Mm-hmm. And so we look at replacing bonds, getting away from the target date funds and bonds in other places in a portfolio, and replace that with something that's actually protected, and then have our risk money, our money that's going to be going up and down, invested in stocks where we're going to get the most growth out of it.
And there's going to be lots of noise in life, a lot of noise on TV and radio and even friends at parties where they're going to say the market's too bad, too good, and they're going to tell you certain ways to invest. And most of those ways that people say are extremely high risk. Mm-hmm. Understand that you need to build your fundamental portfolio that's going to be for your lifetime, and then you can play with a little bit of extremely high risk things, but don't make that your only way to reach your retirement goal. These examples that we're trying to talk about are just when people come in. One thing that I had a client come in the other day, and the first thing they said was, have you heard about the U.S. Digital currency, that the U.S. government's going with digital currency? And I said, no. Where'd you get that from? What radio station are you listening to? And then the idea was that their mind was on things that was not their plan because of noise, of stuff that's out there. I had to get them focused on their situation, what risk level they need to take so that we could properly invest their money. The people that are CD buyers, they're excited because rates have gone to 2%. Inflation's 10, 11%. Yeah. They're still losing, still depreciating in a CD. It's not a long-term investment. It's more of a parking place. Mm-hmm. But the general advice to diversify makes a lot of sense. Yes, you can make 3% in the Treasury. You can make a little bit more if you use a combination inflation bond or an I-bond, right? Depending on, but there's limits on how much money you put in. Right. There are choices on the fixed side to improve, but you're still not going to beat inflation without stocks. We need to have some stocks in your retirement years.
Right. One thing to keep in mind is every economic environment presents some sort of opportunity. And our job is finding what those opportunities are and then presenting them to you if they fit in your situation.
Yeah. Planning and talking to an advisor where they get to know you and your situation and then hear your goals, write things down, will lead to good decisions. I believe anytime you sit down and write down your thoughts and think about the future, you're going to make wiser decisions.
Right. And just having a hierarchy. Here's the thing that's most important. Here's next. Here's next. Here's next. You can work down a checklist and get things in place that need to be there.
No matter where you start, it's a great way to do it.
Just start.
And I found this to be true even with people with a lot of money saved, a lot of wealth, and they think they have enough, but it's diversified in a way where they can't keep the same level they're at in retirement because it's just not built at the level that they're earning. And we've seen people with like $1 million a year earnings, and we're trying to explain to them we can't live at that same level unless we save a lot of money now.
Right. If you've got to save a lot of money if you're going to live off $1 million.
Absolutely. It's like you think about football players get a great big contract, they're set for life. Well, there's a lot of tax. A lot of people take pieces, and then that net money is what they got to plan the entire life on.
Yeah, that's why those football players, they retire and they end up in an announcing booth or something because they need more money.
Well, it's something to do. I mean, I'm not one of those sit around in retirement. And if you can talk the game as well, right? Yeah. So our show today has been about a lot of stuff, but mainly it's about the playoff push. The Orioles have been exciting for me to watch. It's a good thing. But that playoff push is just like your retirement push, getting ready for your retirement years. No matter what age you are, you need to have meaningful days where you make changes now to make your money last a lifetime. Okay,
so we've talked about a lot of different things today about making the retirement winning the retirement championship. Easy for me to say.
I'm sorry, that was funny, Joe. Yes, we want to win the retirement championship by taking advantage of meaningful days in your life where you decide which way to go with things. What that means is this. We invite you to give us a call to talk about your financial situation and talk about your exact financial fingerprint and where you are. We want you to win in your retirement. So take advantage of the opportunity to begin planning with us at Acres Financial Group. One of the most meaningful days will be when you made that choice to work with us at Acres Financial Group. To schedule that free meeting with one of our team of advisors, go to our website at acresfinancialgroup.com, scroll to the Schedule a Meeting section, and let us know you'd like to schedule your free meeting. That's acresfinancialgroup.com, or you can give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting with one of our team of advisors. Start planning for your retirement now. Go to acresfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Acres Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Acres Financial Group. Brian Akers of Acres Financial Group is a registered representative offering securities through Kalos Capital Incorporated and investment advisory services through Kalos Management Incorporated. Acres Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Kalos Capital or Kalos Management and does not provide tax and legal services. Advice given on winning in retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment.